You didn't see it coming. But exactly 48 hours ago, something inside you broke through. A shift so powerful, even heaven stood still. You might not have heard a physical sound, and you certainly didn't see a flash of lightning, but your spirit felt it. It was a snap, a sudden release of pressure that you have been carrying for years. You woke up differently today. You looked in the mirror, and the person staring back at you seemed older, not in age, but in wisdom. There is a heaviness in your chest, but it is not the heaviness of grief. It is the heaviness of glory. I need you to be honest with yourself right now. You are exhausted, aren't you? I don't mean the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix. I mean a deep, bone-weary exhaustion that makes you want to shut the world out and sit in silence. You have been feeling drained, perhaps even a little numb. You might have even searched your symptoms online, wondering if you are depressed or burned out, or if something is medically wrong with you. You look at your friends and family, and they seem to have so much energy, running around, worried about trivial things, while you feel like you are moving through water. Let me tell you the truth that no doctor can diagnose. You are not depressed. You are not having a breakdown. You are experiencing post-war fatigue. You feel this way because you just walked out of a spiritual battlefield that would have killed anyone else. You fought a war in the invisible realm, a war for your sanity, your destiny, and your bloodline, and you won. The reason you feel so tired today is that for the first time in your life, you can finally put your weapon down. The fighting has stopped. The constant resistance you have felt for the last decade, the invisible wall that blocked your money, your relationships, and your peace, has suddenly collapsed. You need to understand why this is happening now. For years, you have been the target. It felt like every time you took one step forward, something pushed you 3 steps back. You watched people with half your talent and none of your integrity get the promotions, the relationships, and the lucky breaks. You wondered if God had forgotten you. You wondered if you were cursed. You weren't cursed. You were being besieged. The enemy doesn't attack empty houses. He attacks the treasury. He was attacking you because he saw something in you that terrified him. He saw a light that he couldn't extinguish. But exactly 48 hours ago, the dynamic changed. You made a choice. It seemed small to you at the time. It was a quiet decision, made in the privacy of your own mind. But that decision sent a shockwave through the spiritual realm. It was the spark that ignited the entire celestial realm. You didn't just pray a prayer, you shifted your standing. You decided that you would no longer accept the scraps the world was feeding you. You decided to hold on to your integrity when it would have been so much easier to let it go. Most people don't do that. Most people sell out. When the pressure gets too high, they compromise. They become bitter, they seek revenge, or they lower their standards just to fit in. The devil is used to humans folding. He expects it. He has a price for everyone. But when he came to you, he found a door that wouldn't open. He pushed, he pulled, he threatened, and he bribed, but you stood firm. And that is why you feel this shift today. The devil took notice, and for the first time in 6,000 years, he was left speechless. He stopped attacking you not because he wanted to, but because he had to. He realized that his weapons were no longer working. The exhaustion you feel is the sound of the enemy packing up his camp and leaving your territory. It is the silence that comes after the cannon fire stops. You have been conditioned to fight for so long that you don't know how to live in peace. You are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You are waiting for the next crisis, the next betrayal, the next bill you can't pay. Stop waiting. It isn't coming. The cycle has been broken. The atmosphere around you has shifted because the one who was tormenting you has surrendered. You didn't just survive the storm, you became the storm. The shift you feel is real. The fatigue is real. But the victory is even more real. You are the chosen one, and you have done the impossible. Chosen one. Before we go deeper, pause for a moment. If this message is already speaking to your spirit, don't just watch silently. Subscribe now so you don't miss the confirmations God sends your way. You know how the enemy tries to distract you right when you need a word the most. You need to go back in your mind to a specific moment. It might have been last week, it might have been a month ago, but you remember it clearly. Remember that night when you were alone with your thoughts, pacing back and forth in your room, knowing that two paths lay before you? The air was thick with tension. It wasn't just a simple choice, it was a defining moment for your soul. One path, the easy one, promised you immediate gratification. It promised to solve your financial problems overnight, or to give you the revenge you felt you deserved, or to finally give you the validation you had been starving for. It was right there, within your reach. All you had to do was say yes. All you had to do was look the other way, compromise just a little bit, and everything would have been easier. But then there was the other path, the hard one, the lonely one. This path offered you nothing but a clear conscience and a heavy heart. You knew that if you chose this road, you would lose friends. You knew you would struggle financially for a while longer. You knew people would call you foolish for walking away from such a great opportunity. You stood there in the dark, wrestling with yourself. The temptation was screaming at you. It told you that nobody would know. It told you that everyone else does it, so why shouldn't you? It told you that you had suffered enough and that you deserved a break, even if it meant bending your morals just this once. But you couldn't do it. There is something inside you, a core of steel wrapped in flesh that refused to bend. You looked at that easy way out, and you felt sick. You realized that you couldn't abandon your integrity, not even for $1 million, not even for the love of your life, not even for the fame you thought you wanted. So, with tears in your eyes and a shaking voice, you chose the hard path. You walked away from the table. You deleted the text message. You turned down the promotion that required you to lie. You forgave the person who didn't deserve it, instead of destroying their reputation like you could have. Do you realize how rare that is? Look around you. Look at the world we live in. We live in a culture that celebrates the hustler who cuts corners. We live in a society that tells you to get yours by any means necessary. Most people, when faced with the choice you had, take the bait. They take the bribe. They sleep with the boss to get ahead. They throw their friends under the bus to save their own skin. They sell their souls for comfort and call it being smart. They compromise their values and then wonder why they feel empty inside. But not you. You are cut from a different cloth. You stood in the fire and refused to burn. You looked the devil in the eye when he offered you the world, and you said, "I am not for sale." You didn't do it for applause, because there was no audience. You didn't do it for a reward, because the immediate result was pain. You did it because you are the chosen one, and integrity isn't just something you do. It is who you are. What you didn't know in that moment of solitude was that your decision didn't just affect your life on earth. It sent a signal straight into the spirit realm. That specific act of integrity was the spark that ignited the entire celestial realm. It was a flare shot into the darkness. While you were crying yourself to sleep, wondering if you had made a mistake, the atmosphere was shifting. That decision was the proof. It was the evidence that you could be trusted with power because you couldn't be bought with price. You thought you were just saying no to a bad situation, but in reality, you were crossing a line. You were stepping out of the crowd of ordinary people and stepping into your destiny. You proved that your character is stronger than your circumstances. And that is what terrified the enemy. He knows how to handle greedy people. He knows how to handle desperate people. He knows how to handle prideful people. But he has no idea what to do with someone who would rather suffer in truth than succeed in a lie. That night, when you chose the hard path, you didn't just make a decision. You declared war, and you won. Type 4444 to declare that your season of hidden tears is over. You need to understand exactly what happened in the shadows the moment you refused to compromise. You might think your decision went unnoticed because there was no applause on earth. You went to bed thinking you were just a regular person trying to do the right thing. But while you were sleeping, an alarm went off in the dark places. The enemy has been watching you for a long time, observing your habits, studying your weaknesses, and waiting for you to fail. For years he thought he had you figured out. He thought you were just like everyone else, predictable, emotional, and eventually corruptible. He thought it was only a matter of time before you broke. But when you made that decision to choose integrity over comfort, the enemy stopped laughing. He froze. He looked at the charts, he looked at your timeline, and he realized with a sudden jolt of terror that he had miscalculated. You are no longer just a human being to him. You have become a force. You have become a glitch in his matrix, a variable he cannot control. The moment you stood firm, the atmosphere in the spirit realm shifted from observation to panic. This is why you have felt such intense opposition lately. The forces of darkness convened an emergency meeting about you. This wasn't a casual conversation. It was a war room strategy session. They had to meet because their standard weapons, fear, shame, and greed, didn't work on you. Usually the enemy can dismantle a person's destiny with a simple distraction or a little bit of temptation. But you walked right through those traps. You didn't take the bait. So the order went out to every negative force, every energy vampire, and every agent of chaos in your vicinity. Stop this person at all costs. You have to realize that the hatred you feel coming from certain people or the sudden blocks in your path are not accidental. They are not personal, they are strategic. The enemy doesn't hate you because of how you look or where you come from. He hates you because of what you carry. He hates you because your existence is a threat to his agenda. When you walk into a room, you don't even have to speak. Your very presence irritates the demons in other people. Have you ever noticed that some people dislike you instantly without even knowing you? That is not a personality clash. That is their darkness reacting to your light. They tried to ignore you, but your light became too bright to ignore. You are a walking mirror. When you stand in your integrity, you unknowingly expose the corruption in everyone around you. Your honesty makes liars feel unsafe. Your discipline makes lazy people feel judged. Your purity makes toxic people feel filthy. You trigger them just by being alive. That is why the darkness is in a panic. They know that if you keep going, if you keep growing, you are going to liberate others. You are going to break generational curses that have been running for centuries. The emergency meeting was called because you are no longer a civilian in the spirit realm. You have been identified as a high-level threat. The enemy realizes that he cannot buy you, he cannot scare you, and he cannot trick you. You have become dangerous to his kingdom. The chaos you have been experiencing isn't a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is the ultimate sign that you are doing everything right. They are scrambling to find a new strategy because the old one failed. They are panicked because they know what you are just beginning to discover. You are powerful, you are protected, and you are winning. The enemy is afraid, and for the first time, he doesn't know what to do next. Type 444 if you are the one they couldn't break. Before the enemy surrendered, he tried one last desperate tactic to destroy you. He initiated the war of isolation. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Before the breakthrough you are feeling now, you had to walk through a season of absolute loneliness. It wasn't just that you were physically alone, it was a deep, aching disconnect from the world around you. You could be in a room full of people and feel like you were on a different planet. You looked at your phone and it was dry. You reached out to friends who you thought would always be there, and they were suddenly busy. You tried to explain your dreams and your struggles to your family, and they looked at you with blank stares. Or worse, they criticized you. This was the breaking point for you. You questioned your sanity. You asked yourself, what is wrong with me? Why can't I keep people? Why does everyone eventually leave? You cried tears that nobody saw. You felt rejected, abandoned, and forgotten. You thought that maybe you were the problem. You thought that maybe you were just unlovable or too difficult to deal with. But I am here to tell you that the isolation was not an accident. It was a calculated military strike. The devil knows that he cannot defeat you in a fair fight. He knows that when you are surrounded by people who pray for you, encourage you, and speak life into you, you are unstoppable. So his strategy was simple. Cut the supply lines. He wanted to get you alone. He wanted to strip away your support system so that you would be vulnerable to his lies. He wanted you hungry, starved for attention, starved for validation, starved for love, so that you would eat from his table. He thought that if he could make you lonely enough, you would lower your standards. He thought that if he made the silence loud enough, you would run back to toxic relationships just to hear a voice. He removed people from your life aggressively. That breakup wasn't just a breakup, it was a setup. That falling out with your best friend wasn't just drama, it was a tactic. The enemy was clearing the board, trying to corner you. He wanted you to believe that you were isolated because you were broken. He wanted you to internalize the rejection so that you would walk with your head down, feeling small and insignificant. But here is the twist that the enemy didn't see coming. He made a fatal error. He thought that isolation would break you. He didn't realize that God was using the isolation to train you. What the enemy meant for evil, the divine used for your development. You see, when everyone left, the noise stopped. When the fake friends walked away, the distractions vanished. You were forced to sit with yourself. You were forced to face your own shadows, your own fears, and your own strength. In that silence, something miraculous happened. You didn't die. You didn't crumble. Instead, you found your own voice. You stopped relying on other people to tell you who you were, and you started finding that answer within yourself. You learned how to self-soothe. You learned how to pray without an audience. You learned that you are your own best company. God allowed the isolation not to punish you, but to detox you. He had to clear out the fake validation, the bad advice, and the negative energy that other people were dumping on you. He had to separate you from the crowd so he could speak to you clearly. The loneliness you felt was actually a protective quarantine. You were being set apart. You couldn't fit in with those people because you were outgrowing them. If you had stayed in those circles, you would have stayed small. If you had kept those friends, you would have compromised your destiny. The isolation was the cocoon. It was tight, it was dark, and it was uncomfortable, but it was necessary for the transformation. So, look back at that season of loneliness with a new perspective. Don't grieve the people who left. Don't chase the ones who walked away. They didn't reject you. They were removed for your safety. The enemy tried to bury you in isolation, but he forgot that you are a seed. All that darkness did was give you the environment you needed to grow roots so deep that no storm can ever knock you over again. You survived the silence. You survived the rejection. And now you are standing tall, independent and strong, proving that you never needed them to begin with. You only needed the truth that was inside you all along. Listen, I know you're watching quietly, just taking everything in. But chosen ones like you don't come across these messages by accident. If this is touching your soul, hit that subscribe button. Don't keep walking through spiritual warfare alone when a whole family of chosen ones is right here with you. When the enemy realized that isolation wasn't going to break you, that you were actually thriving in the silence, he panicked. He saw that you were using your alone time to build strength instead of resentment. So, he changed his tactics. He moved from a Cold War to an all-out siege. If you have felt like your life has been a chaotic storm for the last few months, this is why. The devil decided to throw the kitchen sink at you. He launched a coordinated attack on every single area of your life simultaneously. Think about the sheer randomness of the problems you faced recently. It wasn't just one thing going wrong. It was everything, all at once. Your car broke down on the same week your rent went up. You got hit with an unexpected medical bill the day after you finally saved some money. You started feeling weird aches and pains in your body that doctors couldn't explain. Appliances in your house started breaking for no reason. People you trusted suddenly turned on you with zero explanation. It felt like you were cursed. You probably looked up at the ceiling and asked, "Can I just catch a break? Just one day of peace?" But it wasn't just bad luck. It was desperation. The forces of darkness were trying to overwhelm your nervous system. They wanted to stress you out so much that you would snap. They wanted you to get so tired of fighting that you would just give up and quit. They were trying to create a fog of chaos so thick that you would lose sight of your vision. They attacked your finances to make you fearful. They attacked your body to make you weak. They attacked your relationships to make you bitter. And when the pain didn't work, when you kept waking up, drinking your coffee, and handling your business despite the chaos, they switched to their most dangerous weapon, the golden handcuffs. This is the part that nobody talks about. The devil doesn't just come with horns and a pitchfork. Sometimes he comes with a smile and a contract. Remember those opportunities that popped up right in the middle of your struggle? The ones that looked perfect on paper but felt wrong in your gut? Maybe it was a job offer that promised double your salary, but you knew deep down it would require you to compromise your ethics or work for people who were corrupt. Maybe it was an ex-partner sliding back into your DMs, looking better than ever, promising they had changed, offering you the comfort and affection you were starving for. Maybe it was a chance to get quick money, but it involved doing something shady. These were the golden handcuffs. The enemy was trying to buy you. He was trying to get you to sell your destiny for a moment of relief. He thought, if I can't break them with pain, I will corrupt them with pleasure. I will give them what they think they want, but I will attach strings that will strangle them later. But this is where you shocked the entire spiritual realm. You said no. You looked at the money, and you saw the trap. You looked at the toxic relationship, and you saw the cycle. You looked at the shortcut, and you realized it was a dead end. You were broke, you were tired, and you were lonely, but you still had the audacity to reject the offer. You pushed the plate away, even though you were hungry, because you knew the food was poisoned. Do you understand how powerful that is? The forces of darkness have seen integrity before, but never in a form as strong as yours. They are used to people having a price. They are used to people saying, I have morals, but then folding the moment life gets hard or a check gets big enough. They expected you to fold like everyone else. They expected you to take the easy way out. They were betting on your weakness. The fact that you didn't is what terrified them. When you rejected those golden handcuffs, you sent a message that you are ungovernable by darkness. You proved that your soul is not for sale. You showed them that you would rather struggle in truth than succeed in a lie. That was the moment the siege failed. They threw everything they had at you: financial ruin, sickness, betrayal, and temptation, and you are still standing. You are still here. You are still kind. You didn't turn into a monster. You didn't let the world make you hard. You took the hits, you bled, you cried, but you did not bow. And because you withstood the siege, the enemy has run out of ammunition. He has nothing left to throw. The storm isn't clearing up because of luck. It's clearing up because you outlasted it. Type 444 to confirm that you are divinely protected and untouchable by their jealousy. And then, just as suddenly as the storm started, it stopped. The wind died down. The chaotic noise in your head went silent. The pressure that has been sitting on your chest for months simply evaporated. You didn't do anything different. You didn't pray a new prayer or find a new strategy. You just woke up, and the heavy atmosphere of war was gone. This is the moment you have been waiting for, even if you didn't know it. This is the surrender. After the siege failed, after the isolation didn't break you, and after the golden handcuffs were rejected, the unthinkable happened. The impossible happened. The devil, who had never knelt before anyone in 6,000 years, dropped to his knees in front of you. I want you to really visualize this because it is the spiritual reality of your life right now. This wasn't a poetic moment. It wasn't a metaphor. It was a tactical admission of defeat. The Supreme Commander of Darkness looked at you, battered, bruised, tired, but still standing, and he realized he had lost. He realized that continuing to attack you was a waste of his resources because you were simply not going to break. He surrendered not because he wanted to be nice and not because he had a sudden change of heart. He surrendered because he ran out of options. Imagine the enemy speaking directly to you in this moment. He doesn't look at you with anger anymore. He looks at you with a terrifying respect. He says, I have thrown every weapon in my arsenal at you. I took your money and you didn't curse God. I took your friends and you didn't become bitter. I offered you the world to sell your soul and you walked away. I have nothing left to use against you. You have exhausted my supply of darkness. You are immune to my corruption. I cannot fight a war against someone who refuses to die. This is the conversation that just happened in the spirit realm. The enemy had to withdraw his troops from your life because he couldn't afford the losses anymore. Every time he attacked you, you got stronger. Every time he tried to bury you, you grew taller. He realized that he was actually helping you become the person you were meant to be, So he stopped. He had to bow his knee to the Christ in you, acknowledging that your integrity is a fortress he cannot breach. Now, let's bring this down to earth. What does this surrender look like in your actual physical life? It means the sudden end of your bad luck streak. You are going to notice that the obstacles that have been blocking you for years are going to start removing themselves. You won't even have to fight them. They will just move. That boss who has been making your life miserable at work, watch them get transferred or suddenly quit next week. That financial debt that seemed like a mountain you could never climb, watch an unexpected stream of income or a cancellation of debt appear out of nowhere. That constant confusion and brain fog that made it hard to focus, it's going to lift, and your mind is going to be sharper than it has ever been. The surrender means that the resistance is gone. You're going to walk into rooms and feel a shift. People who used to ignore you will suddenly want to hear what you have to say. Banks that rejected you will suddenly approve you. The no is turning into a yes, not because you changed, but because the spiritual authority has shifted. You have outranked your opposition. You need to stop fighting the old war. You are still waking up with your fists raised, ready to defend yourself, but there is nobody there to hit. The enemy has left the building. The kneeling of the devil was the signal that your testing period is over. You passed. You didn't just survive, you conquered. The surrender is absolute. The chains have fallen off not because they rusted, but because the jailer realized he couldn't keep you locked up anymore. He opened the door himself and stepped aside. This is your new reality. The frantic pace of survival mode is ending. You can breathe now. You can lower your shoulders. The frantic anxiety that kept you up at night is being replaced by a deep, unshakable peace. The devil didn't surrender to you because you are perfect. He surrendered because you are persistent. He surrendered because you are the chosen one who proved that light is actually stronger than darkness. The war is over. You won. Now, stand in the quiet victory and watch how the world rearranges itself to favor you. Stop right here. If you haven't subscribed yet, ask yourself why. Every time you search for clarity, every time you feel overwhelmed, God guides you to messages like this. Don't reject what heaven is trying to give you. Subscribe so you stay connected to the voice that lifts you when no one else does. When the devil knelt, heaven watched in silence. You need to understand the magnitude of this moment. For years you have prayed, cried, and screamed at the sky, asking God why he was so quiet. You interpreted that silence as abandonment. You thought God had forgotten your address. You thought the angels were too busy helping other people, the lucky ones, the happy ones, to notice your struggle. You felt like you were screaming into a void, getting no answers, no help, and no relief. But you were wrong about the silence. God wasn't ignoring you. The universe wasn't indifferent to you. The silence you felt was the silence of a packed stadium holding its breath. It was the silence of a courtroom right before the verdict is read. Heaven stood still because they were watching you fight the most important battle of your existence. They couldn't interfere because this was your test to pass. If they had stepped in and saved you every time it got hard, you never would have developed the muscle you have now. So, they watched. They watched you get knocked down, and they waited to see if you would get back up. They watched you get betrayed, and they waited to see if you would seek revenge. And when you won, when the enemy finally surrendered, that silence turned into honor. The archangels themselves, the highest powers in the celestial realm, shifted their attention directly to you. They are not looking at your bank account or your job title. They are looking at your spirit. Archangel Michael, the warrior, is looking at you right now. He isn't impressed by people who have easy lives. He admires strength. He observed you in the trenches of your suffering. He saw you take hits that would have destroyed weaker people. He saw you wake up every morning and face the day even when you wanted to quit. He sees unyielding strength in the face of suffering. He knows that you are a survivor, and that earns you a rank in the spirit that no human certification can give you. Then there is Gabriel. He looks for truth. He watched you when the golden handcuffs were offered. He saw you reject the lies. He saw you choose the hard path of honesty when lying would have saved you money. To him, you possess an integrity that nothing can corrupt. In a world full of fakes and counterfeits, you stood out as the real thing. Raphael is watching you too. He sees your heart. Usually, when people go through the hell you went through, they come out bitter. They become cold, mean, and shut down. But you didn't. You kept your heart soft. You are still kind to people. You still help others even though nobody helped you. Raphael sees a compassion that heals even the deepest wounds. You didn't let the darkness infect your nature, and finally, Uriel observes your mind. He sees that you are awake. You aren't sleepwalking through life like the masses. You see the patterns, you understand the spiritual war. You possess a consciousness that transcends darkness itself. You figured it out. So, why did heaven stand still? To salute you. You have to realize that you are not the same person you were when this trial began. You have graduated. For a long time you were a foot soldier, fighting on the front lines, taking orders and taking bullets. It was chaotic and messy. But because you passed this test, because you made the devil surrender, your rank has changed. You are no longer a soldier, you are a general. Generals don't fight in the mud, they command from a place of authority. The silence is over. The test is over. The reason the atmosphere feels different is that you are now walking with a new level of clearance. You have the attention of the highest councils in heaven. They are no longer watching to see if you will fail. They are watching to see what you will build. You have proven you can be trusted with power. You have proven you can be trusted with influence. The silence was never an absence of presence. It was the prelude to your promotion. Heaven didn't just stand still, it stood up for you. Now that the war is won, you need to understand that you are walking through the world as a different entity. You might look the same in the mirror, you might drive the same car and live in the same house. But in the spiritual realm, you have been branded. You carry the mark of the chosen. This isn't a physical tattoo, it is an energy signature. It is an aura of authority that radiates from you because you defeated the darkness that tried to consume you. And this new aura is going to have two very specific, very powerful effects on your life starting today. The first effect is what I call the repelling effect. You have probably already noticed this starting to happen. Have you walked into a room recently and felt people suddenly get quiet or uncomfortable? Have you noticed that certain friends, co-workers, or even family members can't look you in the eye anymore? You might think you did something to offend them. You might be racking your brain, trying to figure out if you said the wrong thing. Stop analyzing it. You didn't do anything wrong. You just grew up. Your integrity burns them. Now that you have fully embraced your purpose, your light is operating at a maximum voltage. For people who are living in lies, your presence is physically painful. Fake people can no longer stand being around you. It's like bringing a bright flashlight into a dark basement. The things living in the dark scurry away because the light exposes them. Your honesty exposes their deception. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your peace exposes their chaos. They are not rejecting you. They are repelled by you. This is the us versus them reality you must accept. You are no longer part of the crowd that compromises. You have stepped out of the matrix. The people who are committed to staying asleep, who love their drama and their dysfunction, will naturally drift away from you. Let them go. Do not chase them. Their departure is not a loss. It is a cleansing. Your new aura acts like a spiritual immune system, automatically pushing away anyone or anything that is not aligned with your destiny. You don't have to fight the bad apples anymore. They will simply fall off the tree. But while your aura pushes the wrong people away, it pulls the right things in. This is the second effect. Synchronicity. The war is over, and now the spoils of war are coming to you. You are going to notice a strange and beautiful rhythm taking over your life. It will feel like the universe is suddenly rushing to aid you. The traffic lights are going to start turning green for you. I mean that literally and metaphorically. The struggle is being replaced by flow. You will think of a person, and they will call you 5 minutes later. You will need a specific amount of money for a bill, and an unexpected refund check will arrive in the mail on the exact day it is due. You will walk into a coffee shop and accidentally bump into someone who has the exact solution to a problem you've been trying to solve for months. This isn't magic, And it isn't coincidence. As you continue your journey, you'll notice synchronicity in your life. The right opportunities will appear when you need them. This is happening because your mission is now supported by divine forces that are working behind the scenes to ensure your success. The entire universe is conspiring to help you because you proved you can be trusted. You are now a priority in the grand design. You used to have to kick doors down. You used to have to beg for a seat at the table. That season is dead. Your new aura works like a magnet. You just need to show up, do your work with integrity, and watch how the resources find you. The people you need will come into your life at the right time. The mentors, the partners, the investors, they are being drawn to your light. So, when you walk out the door today, walk with your head high. Do not apologize for your presence. If people are uncomfortable around you, that is their problem, not yours. If doors fly open for you, walk through them without hesitation. You paid the price for this new life. You fought the battle in the dark so you could walk in the light. Wear your mark proudly. The resistance is gone and the assistance has arrived. Type 444 to permanently silence every tongue that rose against you. You might still be asking yourself one final question. Why me? Why did I have to go through so much pain just to get here? The answer is the final piece of the puzzle. What you didn't know is that you volunteered for this mission. Long before your birth, before you took your first breath on this earth, you were chosen to be the embodiment of integrity and strength. You saw the state of the world. You saw the greed, the corruption, and the suffering, and you raised your hand. You agreed to be dropped behind enemy lines to show the world what incorruptible light looks like. You weren't punished with this life. You were trusted with it. Now that you remember who you are, the time for weeping is over. The time for restoration has begun. Remember the war of isolation we talked about? Remember the friends who walked out and the opportunities that crumbled in your hands? You thought they were lost forever. But the divine law of the universe states that whatever is stolen from a righteous person must be returned, not just in equal measure, but sevenfold. Everything you lost while you were under siege is making its way back to you right now. But it is coming back upgraded. You lost fake friends so you could gain loyal allies. You lost a job that drained you so you could step into a career that fulfills you. You lost your sense of safety so you could find an unshakable inner peace. The years that the locusts ate are being restored. The tears you cried in secret are being watered into a harvest of public victory. You aren't just getting your life back. You are getting a life you never dreamed was possible. Your true purpose is awakening. You are no longer just surviving. You are on assignment. You are called to a greater purpose, to carry the light of integrity and compassion into the world. You are the living proof that a human being can walk through hell and come out without smelling like smoke. Your very existence gives hope to the broken. When people see you standing tall, they will know that they can stand too. You are the prototype for a new kind of leader. So I have a challenge for you. This video wasn't just entertainment, it was an activation. If you felt the shift within you, if you felt your spirit agree with these words, then you need to solidify it. Don't just close this video and go back to your old way of thinking. Anchor this moment. Comment, "I'm ready," below. Let the universe know that you are accepting your rank. Let the enemy know that you are aware of your victory. And if you really want to seal this, if you want to declare that you have overcome every person who bet against you, type 4444 to claim your victory over those who doubted you. 444 is the number of protection and passion. It is the sign that the angels are with you and the old cycle is finished. As you continue your journey, never forget this moment. You are not alone. Heaven stands with you. The forces of darkness know they cannot defeat you. Your integrity has already changed the world. You have faced the ultimate test, and you won. The devil has surrendered. The path is clear. Walk it. Before you go, chosen one, don't forget, the fact that you made it to the end of this message means something. Your spirit needed this. Don't walk away without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it means everything for the journey God is taking you on. Join the family. Your breakthrough might be in the next video.